Well, hello everyone. This is Doctors Calvin and Judy Ellison, and we're so excited to be bringing you this. You know, we've been married now for 34 years. Oh my God, and I'm excited. My God, what was water has been turned into wine.
Come on now.
Come on, it should look, there should be some type of a turning, honey, right?
After all those years?
After all of those years?
Oh, yes.
There should have been something that has changed. And so there's been a lot of good changes in our relationship, and we're praying the same thing for your relationship as well. Well, today we're going to talk about how to keep the passion burning. You know, the Bible even talks about God would rather that we be hot or cold toward him.
Oh, he don't want us to be lukewarm.
Oh, no, he doesn't want that. So this is what is needed in order to have great relationships, great marriages. We've got to keep that passion burning.
Yes.
Now, we started out with the passion in the dating time. We're going to talk about dating
in
soon.
the dating
Come on, now, we started out with it. I mean, we had the goo-goo eyes and the flames of fire in the eyes and all of that stuff. The challenge is, when you start out with it, how to maintain it, how
That's
to
good
keep
right there.
the passion burning, honey. You know, we were raised in the sticks, so to speak. We were raised in the country. And one thing we learned years ago, if you were going to have some heat in your house,
Come on.
and it's not like the houses we have today, to where we've got the modern style, thank God for that, because I got tired of going out into the woods, chopping down some tree or something, then having to bring it back as a teenager, then having to chop that stuff up and bring it in the house so you could have some fire. But the uniqueness of that particular time was, if you didn't have any wood to add into that heater,
That's true.
you didn't have any heat.
Oh, I love that.
And it's the same thing in marriage. It's one thing to start out with the heat, the passion, the desire for one another, but it's a whole nother thing to maintain it. And it's not going to happen unless we feed the passion.
That's right.
It's got to be fed. You got to bring some wood to the table. Now, I'm going to tell you something.
Oh, I love that. That's
powerful?
good right there, because it's a revelation to that. You know, it's so important that we just stir ourselves up, even if you have to write down those things. You know, remember you wrote down
Yeah,
those
he's right. There's a lot of writing those days.
Oh, just before we got married, you told me, as you said, these are the things that I'm going to do
43
by the
things.
grace of God.
And I was wondering whether I was hanging myself with that stuff.
And I'm saying,
Dear God,
do
is
you
she
know what
gonna
he
hold
really
me to
saying?
the letter of the law on this?
No, I know that it takes mercy and grace in order for you to do something. But we do know a couple that did. The woman held the man up to the highest standard of what he said.
Brother man didn't know what he was
He told about you ain't got to
what he was
cook,
doing.
you ain't got to clean, you got to do all of that.
And she
really
held
did
him
it.
to it. With no adjustments. Where you told me you were going to do all of this,
So you got to do it.
she took it to the letter of the law. You know, but that's not how to keep the flame
No,
burning.
it's not.
But we got to go back now. We got to make sure that we add wood to the fire. In other words, you got to bring something to it. You brought something to it while you were dating.
You brought your best.
Your best.
You look the best. You smell the best. You try to keep your house clean, ladies, when the gentleman came over, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Because you wanted to impress that person.
Yeah.
And what I find out in a relationship, you need to still keep running trying to impress them. My husband always called me girlfriend, and you know, we want to act just like and do it that we are still dating, because that's what's going to keep some of the passion into your relationship.
Now you're hitting on some real powerful stuff that we need to, line by line cover, because without that dating element in marriage, that's one of the reasons why the fire goes out, because we do not keep the dating element alive in marriage. So we get caught up in the same old. So we want to even start right there by saying, keep the dating element alive. Date. Have a set aside time to where you go to a movie, some type of outing, or you do something that is outside of the routine, out of the box. Because you know, if you're not careful, you can get boxed in. Well, I know her.
She knows me now, so we ain't got to do all that.
Come on, we ain't got to do all that. So you get into that boxed mentality. But you got to break out of that.
That's right. And you don't realize that each one of us is thinking about, we need to do something different. And then if your partner want to do something different because you still claiming her and trying to get her, you need to do something different.
Come on now.
You know, you don't do the same old and let it get stale. You want your passion to be so great in your relationship that it really does feel like the time is going by too slow.
Oh, my Lord. Come on.
Like 34, 35 years is a long time, but even 50 years is a long time. But I like to see older couples when they still holding hands.
Oh, God. What
and
an
looking
example.
each other in the eye. And everybody can tell that they really love each other.
They maintain
Come on now.
that
I love
passion for one another in marriage. There are challenges out there.
Oh, yes,
Come on, this thing is, we're living in a real life war zone. I mean, in a lot of different ammunition or weaponry aimed against marriage. We understand that. We live in a real world, you know, and so we have to work hard with God's help.
Yes.
To stay close, you know, and our hearts go out for the many of people whose marriages, they've been married once or twice or whatever.
Three times,
you know,
6 times.
You know, all that kind of stuff. Our hearts really do go out. We understand there is a real devil, but you can devil-proof your house.
Come on now. I love that.
Come on, you can devil-proof it. And the only way you can basically do that is through God's way of doing things.
And see, by changing partners, it does not mean that your marriage is going to work. Because if you're doing the same thing that you did with the first partner or the second partner or the third partner, well, that would tell you that, you know, it's ludicrous to keep doing the same thing and expecting to get a different result.
To get different results.
You got to change. Life is full of changes. Don't say, well, I was like this when I was born, and I was like this when I was 16 years old, and I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. Well, hear what you're telling God. God, I don't expect to change. Anything that you get in new, you're going to have to change. When me and my husband became pastors of a church, I had to change. He had to change. We had to set our schedule on a different turn because we know we're doing something different now that we've never done before.
Well, you brought up another dynamic point as to how we can keep that flame burning, and that is you got to be adjustable.
Oh, I love that word.
You got to be adjustable. You got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to let go of a part of you to gain a part of her so that we can create the us. Because
it's worth it.
It is.
It's worth to have a happy relationship. And we are not talking about, we don't never have any confrontation against, you know, with some things that come up that both of us don't understand. Those. We have those, but see, we learn how to deal with that. Early on in the relationship, we learned just because you're having confrontation don't mean you got a bad marriage.
Come
to think about it, the Holy Spirit told me, he said, I don't want you to ever say that out of your mouth that you have a bad marriage. Because the power of life and death is in the tongue. So you got to speak positive things.
So we have a growing relationship.
Oh, that's what he told me, said, growing relationship. And ever since then, God's been giving me, enabling me, and giving me the tools to make the marriage on my part better, you know.
Well, there again,
as a woman, that is.
You're willing to give up some of your ways, and I have to give up my ways to adapt to a better way.
Or God's kind of way,
or God's way. You know, you got to give up something.
Yes.
You know, you can't, look, in marriage, you can't hold on to everything that you brought in. It's
God,
not
no,
going
you
to
can't
work
do
that
that.
way. You know, you got to be willing to give up something to gain something.
Yes.
That's just a principle of success in any area of life. You got to be willing to give up something. So how much of you are you willing to give up?
That's it.
In order to maintain that burning fire, that passion. Because truly the passion wasn't just physical.
Oh, no.
Oh, I know you didn't just marry off of
looks, hips, and lips.
Hips, lips, dips.
Whatever.
Truly, you didn't marry off of that because that's not going to sustain marriage. You know, we found out that love is not enough alone.
No, it's not.
To keep us together. Even though it's the dominating factor, I believe, with its tentacles. But there are some other things you gotta do other than I just have love for you.
Well, can't you see that I love you?
Did you see that I love you?
Can't you see that I love you?
You know? Now, it reminds me of that story friend of mine, Apostle Mal Williams and I, we were in this meeting with this gentleman. He was 40, almost 50 years of age, got married, later in life. And honey, he got to talking about how his wife kept asking him these questions. We were looking at this guy like, He said, we ended up being divorced in less than a year because his wife kept asking him all of these questions.
Mainly, do you love me?
Do you love me?
Do you love me?
Do you love me? She kept coming. How long? Where have you been? How long were you in the store?
Well, that means that he don't understand women because they're gonna ask those types of questions.
Ask questions, brother. And so he got upset, divorced her in less than a year, after less than a year of marriage, because she kept asking him all of these questions. And she would ask him things like, well, don't you love me? He said, well, I told you that I loved you when we got married 9 months ago. That should have been satisfying.
Now that was totally
40,
ludicrous.
this guy was almost 50 years of age, and he's upset. He thought that it would work when he told his wife one time on the wedding day that I love you.
Pitiful. You know what, honey? It's so good that really you got to get knowledge in these areas.
You do.
If you think that you know everything, you won't even try to get knowledge in the areas that you think you know everything. But I find out, even the tape that my sister brought me from Augustine College in Raleigh, books that we had to read, even mainly the Bible, books and tapes, and all of that is the thing that helped me. I could not see myself going into a relationship. I'm talking about another chance, a turnaround to say that I know everything. Let me tell you, it's the same thing when we became pastors. I had to get books, tapes, everything. Oh, Lord, what should I do?
So in other words,
I didn't try to pretend that I knew all those things, but I didn't know it.
You got to be a student of relationship. And then after that, all the books and stuff that you read, those are very good because you get to seeing other people's examples and how they grew, that mentoring concept.
Yes.
And then after that, you got to be open. And this is why we need God and his ways in our relationship. You got to be open to a whole nother level of learning. Because no book taught you how to relate to that man that you have.
Come on.
Or that woman that you have.
I love that. I love
right,
that.
honey? Give me a 5 on that one.
Come on. Say you should be just like so-and-so. And that's where a lot of women make the mistakes of, you ought to be like my pastor.
Oh,
well, your man is not your pastor.
Not your pastor.
And your husband and the pastor is totally different. So how can he be like you?
Now, let me tell you something
that is totally wrong because nobody is a carbon copy.
Nobody is come on, we've got two different histories.
History.
And just because a man has a title of bishop, apostle, or whoever, or a woman has the title of archbishop or whatever.
Oh, bishop.
And because you see the anointing, that is no indication that your marriage is going to work.
Yeah, because they might not know how to relate.
Come on, we're human beings.
You can have all kind of titles. You can have titles from your head to your toe. But it doesn't mean
you can pray until Mount Rushmore changes into a hill. There's no indication that just because you are anointed or I'm anointed, you're anointed, that's no indication that we're going to have a great relationship. No. I've still got to bend. I've still got to adjust. I still have to make changes within my own self.
In order for us to blend together, like again, I'm always making this statement, men are from Mars and women are from Jupiter. It's like two different worlds.
Together, huh?
Our brains think different, even though we think thoughts. But the thing is, if I could get along with my husband, I got to understand how he is made, how God created him as a male. And he got to understand how God created me as a female. And okay, I'm not saying that we're going to be carbon copy of other females and other males, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, so we have to get the basic understanding
definitely
of male-female needs. But then even after all of that, I still found out that I had to adjust to her.
Yes.
And
he's not no lesser than a man. He's still a man. And the thing is, we all got to adjust. We all got to be in. If you really want a great relationship, and we really did wanted to please God in our relationship. I think that was the number one thing of us being in. You know what I'm saying? You got to see God as, okay, God allowed us to, He joined us together. So therefore,
But I was excited.
we got to yield to the voice of God.
Well, I was excited that He gave me the opportunity to be a part of the institution of marriage. Greatest institution on the planet. I was excited about it.
Yeah,
And
two is better than one.
When I found out I could have you, oh boy. I mean, the beast began to come out of me. I mean, I began to King Kong.
Yeah, ladies, I just want you to know your husband do have an ego. All men's got a strong ego, so you got to play on that ego. You got to play on it in order for really to get to know him.
Let's go back now. I don't want to brush over that now. I was like, man, I got a treasure. I just conquered 3,000 soldiers to get this woman.
I had him thinking that for years. But that's all right, because like I said, our apps was to please the Father. If God look at relationships so greatly and He constitute that, then guess what? He wants us to have a happy relationship.
He wants us to have happy.
I believe everything that the Father created for us, He wants us to be happy.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to have times and days where
of course.
We have the confrontation, but still, I believe that the law of happiness ought to reign over the relationship. And if we yield really to the laws that help guide us and keep us in intimacy.
Yeah.
See, then we can maintain the passion, the flame, and keep heading up the mountain toward oneness.
Yes, you don't want to be you don't want to have a passion breaker that you fussing and arguing all the time in your house.
No, that'll break
all the time in
it.
your car, going to church, you're fussing. As soon as you get to church, you say, "Hi, sister. Hi, brother."
Oh boy. Oh God.
All the way to the church.
So you have to put on a religious face.
Yeah, you got to put on a facade.
Now you are arguing. And the car's behind you. You're sitting there driving, the car behind you, sitting there looking at you, arguing and stuff like that. And then you get to church and all of a sudden change the face. See, you want to kill
You want to yes, kill it. We all have been there and done that. But we want to kill that because we want the power of God to rest in our lives enough that when we go to church, we can hear the word of God and continue growing. And the thing is, it's not about us. That's my word, right there. It's not about us, not about him and I. It's about what God wants in our life. If we can only stand firm on, okay, God, I'm constantly getting mad with this woman. What should I do? Okay, God, he acts like he ain't paying me any attention. What should I do? And when me and my husband get so busy, and he's a very busy man, we had to set aside some time. We got to keep that date night going. If we miss one date night, the next day going to be our date day. Because we are constantly changing all the time.
And one thing I noticed, and I got to give you credit, you keep that date night consciousness in our relationship. And so I'm most appreciative of that. And we got to do that.
Yes.
I like what you said there too, honey. What is it that God wants out of our marriage? Which means then I got to be accountable to God.
Yes.
See, that's
we
major.
leave God out of our relationship and do our own thing and say, well, that's the way I am.
That's the way I am.
Or that's the way I'm supposed to be.
Before we got married.
Come on.
No, see, that's a problem right there.
That's a breaker.
It's when you kick God out of anything.
Woo!
Let me tell you something. I don't care what kind of title you got, whether you're a PhD, whether you are a king of the jungle or whatever, your marriage doesn't belong to you.
Say it again,
now,
honey.
If you are single and you're thinking about going into marriage, realize you didn't create the institution called marriage. You don't have the right to take God out of what he created and then expect that you're going to get his help.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
For it to work?
God wants to help us. He wants
to
help us real bad.
Yes.
But the point is, we got to know, how can he help us when we don't allow him to help us?
When we don't even allow him to be involved.
He's standing at the door knocking all the time. He hears everything we say, everything that we do. Let's go back and get God conscious.
Wow. Come on. Oh, my God. We're going to take up right there on this next segment. This is delicious.
Yes, it
That's
is.
my word right there. Delicious. I believe that God intended life to be full of joy, full
Yes.
of essence, to be rich in nature. And God wants us to have rich relationships, rich marriages. Now, you got to stay tuned for part 2.
Oh, yes.
Part 2, as we're going to continue to talk about how to keep the passion burning. And you got to fuel it. You got to bring some wood. You got to bring some fuel to the table for that to happen. We'll see you on the next segment. Spread the word. Tell other people about this crazy couple. No, we're not crazy.
Really crazy. We just straight up.
Tell other people about it. Tell them to go to the YouTube and plug into this information that can help you have a richer relationship, that can help you keep the flame burning and have a richer relationship.
God bless you.